not sold on the fact. I'm not sold that it's 100% that KD leaves. I don't. KD could say, you know what, this is a good thing here. Fuck it. I want,
They seem to be not getting from all. I don't know if they're just making stuff up, but it seems like
I,
no one's getting Steve Kerr's fed up with Draymond Green. Everyone's fed up with each other. I mean,
I
trying to
just
win
feel
all
like
those in a row, it
I feel
wears
like
on
that's
you.
it. I'm not. I think the KD, the Kerr and Green stuff, we kind of saw that with our own eyes. But all that other stuff, I just feel like that's drummed up by ESPN and all these other trying to come up with news. Man, I don't think there's as much that some of that infighting that they were talking about. But it's of course Kerr is going to get tired of Green because that's just the player that Green is. That's why every person he ever plays hates him. He's just like that. He gets on your damn nerves.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Let's say the Warriors win this year. Let's say Kevin Durant leaves. Let's say the Warriors, led by Steph Curry, win again next year. Is Steph Curry the GOAT?
Is Clay there?
Yes.
Is he the GOAT?
Jordan
No.
had Pippen.
No, he's not the
How
GOAT.
many championships would that be for Curry? Would that be 5 or 6?
You're saying they win this year?
They win this year and win again next year.
That would be
5?
5, right? It's 5. It's not 6. It's 5, right?
Okay, let's say he gets 5. Is Steph Curry? Let's say Steph Curry one. Okay, let's say Michael Jordan's in a class of his own. Is Steph Curry in that Kobe Bryant class?
Yeah, I would say the Michael Jordan's in the class of his own. I'd put him up there with Kobe and LeBron and all that. Yeah, I would.
DJ Robbie Rob's here. What?
Holy crap! It's a wild DJ Robbie Rob sighting. Even if
saying,
KD leaves, Steph/K are killing it. Someone from the Warriors is leaving though because the contract stuff. True, but you never know.
I mean, if Steph Curry has 5 titles, and he won, that would be 2 with Kevin Durant and 3 without Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Steph does. I mean, Steph just single-handedly eliminated the Rockets because what did he score? 30 in the second half, right?
Yes.
It was so he just single-handedly eliminated them when KD was out. I feel like he does step up, maybe not as much as is LeBron. I mean, I would even say maybe not as much as LeBron.
He doesn't have to though. Steph doesn't need to step up, and then when he does need to step up, he performs. Because I mean, this year at least every single year. I mean, he's had Klay Thompson with him as well, so he hasn't really needed to step up in those situations. Which, as a point guard, I think it's good that you don't have to.
I just don't think anybody. I don't think anybody and I mean, I can't say anybody ever, but anybody in this generation, including LeBron and Kobe and Steph, I don't think anybody overtakes MJ. So if we put MJ at his own tier, he can't be touched. Then I do put him right there with LeBron and Kobe and those guys, like right there. They're even, in my opinion. So.
What if Curry does get 7? What if Curry he wins this year, so that's 4. He wins next year, that's 5. Takes a couple-year break and then wins 2 more to end his career. Steph Curry has 7 NBA championships.
I think there's a debate. I think there's at least a conversation. I don't think there's a conversation now. I don't think there's a conversation next year if they won again. I think if you somehow got set, I think you can at least have that conversation. But I still don't know.
What if Luka gets 6 NBA titles? Is Luka the GOAT?
Luka is the GOAT if he gets 1 title. Yeah, the Mavericks do have a bright future. Speaking of, those Suns, man, the Suns though, they still have a bright future I think. But man, if they were somehow able to, what did they finish? Where did the Suns end up again? I already forgot now. We just talked about it. The Suns were 6. So if they would have just landed in the top 4, that would have been amazing. But if they would have somehow got Zion, my God.
Well, the Suns just need to give Devin Booker a coach for more than a year to have some consistency in his life.
You want my hot take? I think Devin Booker is I don't believe Devin Booker is elite. I'm a big believer in NBA teams that are horrendous. Their best player is not as good as we think he is. They're a horrendous team. They're fucking garbage. They're out of every game. He scores 50. Wow, what did he do? You lost the game.
Well, it's hard to be an elite player when you don't have any consistency at the coach level.
I get what you're saying, but I just feel like we've seen these players before that when they're on bad teams they put up these gaudy numbers, and when they end up on a decent team, they're not even half the player they were before. It's the Tony Romo effect, and I'll say it. Tony Romo's numbers were always inflated because he would, when the Cowboys were down and out in games, he would put up some crazy numbers at the end of the game, but they would lose the game. I feel like there's some of that with players like that in the NBA. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Devin Booker just has to go to the James Harden School of Defense. Learn to play just a little, just enough.
Did you just say the James Harden defense? Did you say that?
James Harden is, I believe, top 5 in the league in steals.
There was at least 10 times in that series where I watched Harden not even move on defense. He literally just stood there and watched the guy with the ball. And you're telling me that?
James Harden is tied for 4th in the league in steals per game with Chris Paul. Thank you.
Do you want my hot take on that? One reason why you're getting a lot of steals is because you've been beaten and the guy's ahead of you and you reach in behind and able to get a steal. That's why.
Oh my God.
That's why. Because the guy beats you, or you're playing lazy on defense and you reach your hand in there and you get a steal.
I think I'm biased about the Mavs when you're the most anti. And to be fair, like Tex said, everyone hates James Harden. Steals don't equal defense, but being top player in steals shows that you're at least using some sort of defensive IQ, unless we're going to assume that being the 4th top player in steals in the league, he just happens to get beat every play and the ball lands in his hands somehow.
But it's a kind of the same thing with interceptions in the NFL. That doesn't equate to a corner being elite. That means you probably were beat, and you had to come back and make a play to make an interception. It's the same thing with steals. Right. Like I'm not saying that's not a good stat.
What stat do they use? Okay, let's look at defensive efficiency. Defensive. If we're gonna look up, like, if we want to know actual defense, right? Let's use those.
Can we just say something real quick? This is how heated this has gotten. It's 9:42. We've been live for an hour and 10 minutes, and we haven't even gotten past NBA yet. Holy moly!
All right, we're going to. We might get a little bit of lag here, but I'm trying to make a point, or potentially lose my point completely. We are going to look at. It's not looking good for me, boys. It's not looking good because Chris Paul's up here. I don't see James Harden.
I just.
That's LeBron.
You missed it earlier, Rob. That we were having the discussion about the Rockets, and Lag said they were one of the best teams in the NBA, defensive stats wise. And then he followed up and said, "Yeah, they were 16th in the league." That's literally middle of the road. That's not great. So anything he's about to spew should have just an asterisk next to it because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, Jesus. All right, we're waiting for this. What stat are you trying to find that's going to prove that Harden's an elite defender?
No comment. He's not an elite defender, but he still is a decent defender.
I don't even say he's decent. I feel like he is a liability on defense. I think he's a liability and my number one reason why I think he's a liability is because he fucking complains so much. The same reason why he flops. After he doesn't get a call, he's sitting there whining to the coach for the ref for 2 minutes, and his guy fucking scores. Like, bro.
I mean, I'd say something bad about the Mavs, but they're never on national television, so.
Bro, okay, first of all, your little Rockets window is ending. Y'all had a little bit of a window. It's over. Then you're going to see in a lot of the Mavs. The Mavs have won a title in the last 10 years. End of discussion.
Call me when y'all make the playoffs again.
Call me when y'all win a championship.
Hey, we have two.
Before
from the 90s, we still have two, though.
Jeez. Oh, man. I think he can, but he chooses not to. but he chooses not to. So he can't be considered a good defensive player because he chooses not to. He focuses so much on the offensive aspects, which he should. He's probably the best offensive player in the league, but he also allows, when he doesn't get a call or a flop didn't go his way, he allows that to affect his defensive, you know, ability, or what am I trying to effort. So
I will give you the okay. Well, if we're gonna talk that way, then would we also say that guys like LeBron James do the same thing? Because LeBron complains just as much, if not more, than Harden. I think the player who I've seen complain the
I
most
agree.
is Chris Paul. Chris Paul, by far,
Yeah,
I
no,
see
Chris Paul does. Yeah,
jumping around every single time anything
but I
happens.
feel like
But
when
so do the
LeBron,
Warriors as well. Draymond
yeah,
Green
no,
always
yeah,
complaining.
yeah,
Steph's
I,
he's not complaining as much, but he still kind of does that stuff. I mean, it's
yeah.
not. James Harden's definitely a much better defender than he used to be because before he was Devin Booker level defender. He was terrible.
No, he's got, but I feel like he could be considered I wouldn't say great, but a good defender in the NBA if he applied. He's not a good defender. He's not.
He's not gonna apply himself because he needs to focus so much on the offensive end.
And he needs to focus on the fact that he flopped and the ref didn't call it.
It's like, oh my god.
I mean, if you're such a good offensive player, you score your bucket, you go back and play defense. It's that easy. It's been done before in the NBA. He allows whatever happened on the offensive side.
Give me a star player that doesn't do that though. What star player doesn't bitch about calls?
But LeBron does it. You're correct, but LeBron can lock down a defender, lock them down. They don't score.
Yeah, but LeBron is. I don't know. He's not the best player in the league anymore. I think this is the first year that I can say LeBron isn't the best player in the league.
No, that is true. Yeah. Harden has a highlight reel flopping and not playing defense.
Everyone hates James Harden. It's okay. You know what?
Guys? I don't hate James Harden, but he. I don't hate
the biggest
James
lie of 2019.
Bro, I don't hate James Harden, but I dislike the fact that he is considered the best player in the NBA. There's a lot of people that think he's the best. He's not. He's not. Best
top five
players,
at least. Give me top five.
I'll give you top five, obviously, but there's a lot of people that consider him the best player in the NBA. I don't. That's just unfathomable. The fact that he's just solely offense and that he allows his flopping and lack of defensive effort to have highlight reels, like Rob is saying. Okay, you're not the best player.
The point. Okay, guys, I'm going to teach you guys a little lesson from the school of Daryl Morey here. The easiest shots to make, the best shots when it comes to percentages and points per shot are three-pointers and free throws. So you always try to draw a foul no matter what, even if you're shooting a three, and you always shoot as many threes as possible. But due to analytics. So I would be trying to draw a foul too.
That's a fact, that's a fact. The same thing. It's a fact. It's an undeniable fact that can't be changed. Is if the ref didn't call it, he's not going to say, you know what? I see you're whining there, Harden. Timeout. Reverse. We're actually going to give him a call there.
That's happened before. That's happened before.
It's not going to change. No, it's not going to change.
It's definitely happened before. In terms of there was at least 2 times during the series where there was a complaint made after the fact, and a foul was called.
A foul was called later in the game, is what you're talking about?
No. It was called during the sequence. He thought he got fouled, and then he complained. And as he was complaining, some of those late fouls where they kind of call it after the plays happened. There were a couple of those. It does get annoying. It does get frustrating. If he wasn't on my favorite team, then I'd be like, F this dude. But it's just like Chris Paul, dude. I was not a fan of Chris Paul at all. Now that he's on the Rockets, I at least kind of have to be.
I think if he cut out half of the flopping and complaining, he would be a little higher regard in terms of all of NBA fandom. If he cut out some of that, but he doesn't. It gets worse, it seems like, every season. Rob says top 5, KD, Steph, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, LeBron. I kind of disagree. I kind of agree with that.
That is a good list of players.
I feel like AD though, Anthony Davis. I don't know, but I'm trying to think who you take in the out.
Playoffs. Giannis hasn't had enough time to show up in the playoffs. LeBron's 2-7 in the playoffs. KD and Steph have just had so many great people. Like KD, I think a lot of people with KD and Steph don't enjoy their greatness as much because they play together and they play on such incredible teams that it's hard to say, oh, Kevin Durant is the best player, oh, Steph Curry is the best player, because they don't need to be the best player
Yeah.
week in and week out or day in and day out.
Yeah.
Like James Harden has to be the best player on the Rockets or they lose. Giannis has to be the best player on the Bucks or they lose. Davis has to be the best on New Orleans
Yeah.
or they lose.
I agree with you there, but why I think Steph is supplanted into that top 5 is he doesn't have to be. When he needs to be, he always does. He always does. When he needs to be the guy, he does it. That's why I think he's cemented into that top 5.
Oh yeah. James Harden's never shown up in the playoffs. That's why we've lost to the best team in NBA history twice in the playoffs, once in the Western Conference Finals, made the semifinals, had the second best or so record.
Okay. I mean, some of this is trolling you, Lags, but you're just gonna have to deal with it because as Mav fans, we had to deal with it for years with Dirk. Dirk was always told that, even though we knew, just like in your heart, that it's not Harden's fault. We had to deal with it, that people said it's Dirk's fault, that Dirk's a choke artist, that Dirk can't win. You're just going to have to deal with it. We had to deal with it.
Yeah, and I can still make my point that I think there have been years in the past where, like, there have been specific moments in the playoffs where Harden has just pooped his pants. Definitely, for sure.
Well, I feel like there were a few moments in this series where he pooped his pants.
But it happens. Every single great player has moments where they.
I don't think. No.
Okay, are we going to say LeBron James isn't a great player because he's choked away so many times in the playoffs?
I honestly can't remember a situation with LeBron where you clearly look at that and say, "Wow, he just shit his pants." He maybe didn't make a shot.
Just look at a highlight reel.
Name me one where LeBron it was clear as day where he just absolutely shit his pants.
You know what
name me one.
You go to YouTube and you search highlights for Skip Bayless, and Skip Bayless will tell you all you need to know about LeBron choking. I don't think LeBron James is a choke artist at all, but I'm saying every single player has those things that happen. Also, to say he hasn't won a title, okay, Dirk is the only guy who I can say has led his team completely to a title. Maybe LeBron James has done almost that, but he had help from Kyrie.
He didn't.
LeBron James has almost done that. But to use those arguments against James Harden when y'all have Dirk there, I mean, come on.
I think there are I'm waiting for you. I don't want to pull up a YouTube video. I'm asking you. Tell me one situation where it clearly
I don't memorize. I love LeBron James. I don't memorize times where LeBron James has failed because I hate when people bring up times when LeBron has failed.
There have been moments where literally you've looked at that and said, "Holy crap, James Harden just literally shit the bed." That's why I don't.
There were specific moments where LeBron has passed the ball when he was supposed to shoot it. There are times where he's jacked up threes when he's missed them. It happens to every player.
Okay. All right.
Also, I'd like to. I'm going to search something.
We done here?
I'm going to search something real quick. I'd like to know how old is Dirk? He's 40, right?
40.
Dirk is 40. What year did y'all win the NBA title?
That was
2011.
2010,
2011. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. So he was 32.
And he carried the team.
What are we getting here? He put the team
what
on
are we
his
getting
back.
here?
He put the team on his back at 32 years old. James Harden is 29. So James Harden has 3 more years before we can consider him to have been choking longer than Dirk, quote unquote, choked. Because I don't think Dirk choked. But
no, Dirk never.
If James Harden wins a championship before he's 31, will each one of you come on our show in 2 years or 3 years and personally,
when we're on ESPN,
personally apologize to me when
James
Harden wins a championship?
Buckaroo, your co-host ain't gonna do it. So why would they? I ain't gonna apologize.
Personal apology. You know, I'm going to make sure I saved a clip of this. I expect a personal apology from M-Dub, from Tex, from Grant, and from Rob when James Harden wins a title before his 32nd or 31st, I'll have to do the math, birthday. All right? And we can talk, we can go back and we can look back on this and we can say, you know what?
Well, no,
I was wrong.
He has to win a title by carrying the team.
Okay, if he's on the Rockets, he's going to be carrying the team. Our second best player is going to be a limp Chris Paul,
I'm
an
there with
injured Chris
Texas.
Paul,
If he's on the Rockets and he has to carry them to a title, I don't think he can do that.
a
I
deer in
think
his
he might.
headlights, Clint Capella.
I think he could win a title if he goes elsewhere late in his career and chases a ring.
If James Harden wins a title with this team, I expect
Then
a
yeah, I'll
handwritten
apologize if that
apology.
happens. But there's no way that's happening.
I want a
So, no
handwritten apology. What I'm going to do is, you see that square that says RBTG down there? What I'm going to do is we're going to have each one of you guys on the show, and
Write out an apology.
You can read out your personal handwritten apology to me, and then I'll accept your apology.
I think there's a bigger chance that you have. There's a bigger chance that you're gonna become a fan of another team. You're gonna jump on another bandwagon.
2022. 2022. In fact, we're not even gonna have to wait that long because it'll probably happen next year.
Hey, but no, bro, you're drunk. You're drunk. What the Rockets have done in the last 2 years is indicating to you that they're gonna win the championship next year. Come on, bro.
So, on let's say June 1st of 2020, I'll be ready for those handwritten apology letters. I mean, it's possible, Grant. It's possible.
And they'll still be paying him cash money.